Hello, my name is Alvin, and I love making videos about people who are super dedicated to one particular food. Whether it's sushi, mozzarella, or noodles, I just think that there's something beautiful about watching someone treat food as a true labor of love. So, when I came across this small Brooklyn donut shop that had the most amazing donuts with the most incredible color and flavor combinations I'd ever seen, I knew that someone special was at work. This is a story about Fany Gerson and why her labor of love is donuts.
Growing up in Mexico, I grew up surrounded by color. Color is everywhere. You go to the markets, it's just color and scents, and I love colorful things. They make me happy. They are part of my culture, and a lot of classic donuts are kind of brownish or white, and they're delicious, but when you have like a pop of color in your box or in your selection, it makes me smile. Making donuts makes me very happy. I worked a lot in some fine dining restaurants, and so I wanted to take all of these techniques that I've learned in pastry and just kind of sneak them in. When I started to think about the donuts and creating the recipes, one thing in particular, when we make churros, we do a Mexican cinnamon infusion. It really does something to the dough. Then to me, it's kind of like seasoning. The way, like when you season a piece of steak, it's about enhancing all the other flavors. There's a lot of sort of feeling that has to go into what you're making, into the dough itself. Temperature, the change in humidity, all of those things are going to affect it, and you need to understand the dough. I always say, like, let the dough tell you what it needs. Sometimes it says, be a little patient, I'm taking my time, or sometimes it's telling me, today I'm feeling a bit hungry, or sometimes it's completely different and it's be like, you're not in a good mood. You cannot be making this dough. I'm not going to come out right, but I mean it, because I feel like that passes through your hands to the dough, and happy people make happy donuts. To me, donuts are a canvas because the possibilities are endless. It's not just about flavor, it's about telling a story. One of my favorite donuts when Dunkin' Donuts opened in Mexico was the Braid. I wouldn't find them very often there or in bakeries, but I always loved it. I just thought it was like so simple and special, and I knew when we opened I wanted to have a Braid. The expression that people have the moment they walk into the store that they're gonna have a donut is something like I never experienced before. There's something so unique about donuts. I think it makes people think like they're kids, and I think there's something really comforting. So to be able to sort of even take that experience or anticipation further and take them somewhere, there's just something, amazing about it. I can't put it into words, but it's just so good. One of the questions people ask me is sort of like, how do you come up with things? For me, it's the opposite. My mind is just creative. Like, I'm inspired by my surroundings, by what I miss, by what I learn about, what I hear, what I read. A lot of the donuts that we have a very personal connection. In Mexico, we eat most things with lime, and I love anything citrusy. It's a very light glaze and then a candied lemon. So the candied lemon peel is something that you don't see often necessarily in donuts, but that's something that you would create as part of a garnish from a restaurant. That's called the Luna Limon. My niece Luna is named after her. I wanted to call the chocolate glaze Choc Choc because that's the way my niece is. When I think of her, eating chocolate, is just like, face full covered. She's a Choc Choc monster. There's one donut, for example, that I named after my grandmother. It's called La Donna. So La Donna in Spanish means the donut. In Italian, it's like the lady. My grandmother is very elegant, so it's this beautiful glaze made with red raspberries and black currant, and it has like a crispy meringue with some edible flowers, sort of the elegant part. I imagine it kind of like a brooch, even though she never wore brooches. And sometimes it's more straightforward. Like I used to live above an Indian restaurant and I always got mango lassi. And also in Mexico, we like a lot of things that are sweet and tart and sour. So I knew right away, I said I wanted to try to bring those flavors into a donut. I knew from the moment we opened, I wanted to do one for my husband. And I call it the Danny Boy. It's a salted brown butter caramel. I have this video, the most awesome video. He's, eating the donut and he's like, and then he's like, Danny Boy. What I love about the glazing part, when you dip it and it comes out, there's kind of like a dance to it. There's a lot of movement that is just beautiful. It's the last stage. It's kind of like right before you're gonna get to eat it. People get so excited and then we get excited, and if you're standing in line and get to see, it's very likely you're gonna get to eat that donut that you just saw glazed. And then when we put like the little decorative touches, it reminds me of when I was working in restaurants and you put all these little details, but we're not using tweezers, we're not, again, it's the perfect imperfection. If people measure success in sort of how much money in the bank, I am extremely unsuccessful. So it's certainly not about money. It's about loving the work that I do, and it's just fun, and just to see how people get so excited and when they see them and they taste them. I mean, a box of fresh donuts, it's a very personal thing. It's just a labor of love, and to get to do something that at the end of the day is just gonna make somebody happy, it's like, it's amazing.